Hey everybody, welcome to the video, welcome to the channel. My name is Mike and we are working on phase one of our barn slash gymnasium revival. This thing was built in the 1930s as gymnasium for the local school, which no longer exists. And I recently acquired this from Dirt Perfect. And we are converting this into what we're calling our world headquarters. Basically, it's a large building that we can grow into, but the building does not come without flaws. It is very close to its last leg, and we have several of these arch trusses on the inside that are failing and starting to come apart on us. So phase one is getting this thing stabilized so that we can go to phase two, which will be lifting it, which will then go to phase three, which will be rebuilding laminated arches from the inside so that we can save this structure and grow into it over time, either storage or shop or rental or whatever we can utilize it for. Basically, it's a lot of square footage for not a whole lot of money, and I just love doing this kind of thing. Today what we're doing is we're hopping down on the old Ford 555 and we're gonna start digging some footers and getting stuff formed up for the buttresses on the outside of this CMU wall, because we've got to get this thing locked in before we start going up with it. Let's get started. So what we're working on is getting this CMU wall reinforced. These are corkboard, these supports right here, and they are matched on the back side. Just take a quick stroll through the dark bowels. I know it's a little difficult to see with the lighting, but on the back side it's a poured wall, and they poured buttresses that match where those supports are on the outside. That's also in line with each one of these wooden posts. They're kind of difficult to see in the darkness, but this has started to lean this way, either from too much hydrostatic pressure on the back side of this wall, or my suspicion, which is like every building in the area where we live, is that the river is slowly pulling this land into itself and the hill is just moving, which led to a little bit of unstable ground for this barn to sit on. Now, if this was a poured concrete wall, I wouldn't worry about it too much, but the CMUs aren't as strong. You're relying strictly on the mortar joint. And by the way, the fact that this whole area moves is why I've got experience in doing this, because we've done this to churches, homes, log cabins. This is the simplest as far as access. It's the sketchiest as far as the CMU wall. This is what makes me nervous. If there's an opportunity for failure, this is it. So before we can go up with the inside and put additional movement and pressure on this wall as we go with the lift, we're going to pour some buttresses from the top down to here. Of course, the first step is going to see if this old rig fires up for us this morning. She's a little chilly. All right, let's try again here. I ran down to the market and picked up a little nose candy. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but sometimes a fella needs it to get the day going. Right up there, give her a little bit. I'll just set that in a cup holder. It is the season. Sneak over here and get us a little fuel real quick. Or I guess I put the fuel tank in the worst possible spot. That little Vever tank has been awesome. I've got the fuel tank in there. I've got extra oil, coolant, hydraulic oil, a little toolbox here for some grease and stuff like that. I've been loving my little setup for that. We'll let that run just a little bit, kind of let her warm up some. No, the laser set up in the meantime. Left the grade rod at the house, see if I can find something in here to make do. Oh yeah, here's a piece of conduit. That'll do the trick. All right, place your guesses on how deep this footer is. Here's the pipe, you ready? How deep do you think this footer is? Deeper than I expected, but not bad. I was thinking I was going to be digging about 3 feet down. I would say that's close to it. Well, I got 3 holes dug and ready, and I was getting ready to dig the 4th hole. I got down here about 10. I want to make sure I can get these done by noon, and I can get concrete at 2 to get these footers poured and ready to go so we can start forming up with the ICF and all that. And I called the other day and I said, hey, you guys gonna be open on Friday because of the New Year, the holiday coming up? They said, yeah, we'll be there. No, I just went up, gave him a call. It's about noon, like I said, and he said because of the weather, they sent everybody home. They didn't think they'd have anything this afternoon, and I think that's needed. So I'm not even gonna dig the 4th one yet because I don't need 4 open holes. And I'm hoping in my heart of hearts here that that little bit of dirt wasn't the last thing holding this thing from collapse, and I'm really hoping that hard because it'd make a good thumbnail, but it just wouldn't be really super good for my morale. And the really downer is the next day they're open that I'm off is Wednesday, 6 days. So, you know, that's an issue. I came up with a plan. Here's what I'm thinking. Part of the purchase of this building, there's some old building materials. A lot of this is still Mike's, he still has to get out, but some of the stuff is staying. Included in that is this new Dura ICF block. So the plan is to build those buttresses out of this ICF block. 1, it's just easy and quick and simple and stacked to form, and 2, it's free. Well, it's not free, it was a part of the price of the building, but we have it, so that's what we're gonna use. The problem I have is, since I didn't get the footers poured on Friday, that means I wouldn't be able to stack and get this poured on Wednesday. And I got to get these poured by Wednesday, because if I don't get these poured on Wednesday, then it'll be almost 2 weeks from my schedule and the batch plant schedule that I can get concrete in the hole. By the way, this is a heated jacket my father-in-law and my mother-in-law got me for Christmas. It's toasty roasty, and I'm liking it. I saw myself in the front camera. Sorry, distraction. So here's what we're going to do. I've done this a few times back when I used to do ICF full time. It's not my favorite method. It's a little trickier. It's a little complicated, but it will keep me on schedule, which is we're going to form this up and just do it as a mono pour. Yeah, neat. Okay, so if you're not familiar with ICF block, I did this for 5 years full-time working for Dirt Perfect, and when we built our ICF home, when I built that with the help of my brothers and my uncle and some other friends, that was the 50th ICF home I built, and the YouTube Yacht project, I guess is the 51st project with ICF. This is new Dura block. It's 8 foot long. It is 18 inches tall, 2.5 inches of EPS, expanded polystyrene on either side. Everywhere there's a diamond pattern, which on this block, and it can be different from block to block, on this block is every 8 inches on center. There's an 1.5 inch wide high density polyethylene stud that's used to screw drywall to on the inside or whatever your finish is going to be. And then on the outside, you can use it for your vinyl siding, your brick straps, your brick ties, whatever you want to put on there. Whatever you do in a traditional framed house, finish-wise, inside and exterior, you can do on ICF. Now, we'll be completely honest. If I didn't have the ICF, I would just use wood to form that up, but we've got it. It's quick and easy to use, so that's what we're going to rock. And each one of them is going to start just like this. Get them lined up, get them snapped in. Now those two are locked together. And then we gotta build 2 of them that are 5 block high, like this. We'll just make a line from that corner to that corner, cut them in half. That'll give us the 4 angled sections. They'll stack on top of these. Skill saw, and then we'll have to go through the Sawzall and clean up webs and stuff. Basically just trace where the studs are at. That's good. Got all of it? I miss a spot? Oh yeah. There we go. Ta-da! Magical, huh? There we go. We got 4 of them. I don't know if you can see the 2 in the background over there. Didn't mess up any of the cuts, and it turned out to be the perfect amount of ICF as far as the new dirt goes, so that's great. There's still some reward wall, or maybe it's fox black. I got to take a closer look down there that we might be able to utilize for something as well, but we've got everything we need. 4 bases, 4 buttresses. Not as crazy as I thought. That's what we're looking like. Let's see, it's tight at the top. 4-inch difference. Probably 5 at the bottom. That one's only 3 out. It's not bad. Honestly, this one looks like the worst one, the one closest to you guys. Oh yeah, that's the worst one for sure. Because it's 5 out before we even get below grade. Oh goodness. So obviously what that means with the wall leaning is the top's going to be touching and the bottom's going to be out away from the wall. On the worst one, it looks like it's going to be anywhere from 6 to 7 inches. So what I need is a way to make up that gap. Now I could scribe these if I wanted, but then when I scribe it, I'm going to lose some height. And I want the full height for a reason. I want it to be tall enough that it can actually catch where the floor system is. I don't want it to be down below where the floor system ties in. I want it to be up high enough to catch that. So I think what we're going to do is head up to the YouTube yacht. We're going to go through those scraps there and try to get what we need. But how about a little update on the YouTube yacht? Some people have been asking about it. There she is, still sitting there. She hasn't sailed off anywhere yet, so that's good. I did a whole video on some more framing, some sheeting, some zip taping, some anchoring, but unfortunately I ended up losing all that footage, so I don't have any of that. But she's covered up really well, all dry on the inside. I'll show you. We got the zip tape on, looking good in here. The only moisture coming through is what's from the pad all the way around the outside. But you can see all the floor system and everything. It's all dry, looking good. Got her sheeted all the way through. Got that beam and opening in with some railing up top. She's looking nice. Got the anchors all epoxied into the concrete. She's sitting pretty. Wait until the springtime. That's probably when we'll get back to her. Sometime in the spring. How you doing, pup? Remember that stray dog that somebody dropped off up here? And we were like, we need somebody to take this. It didn't really work. It didn't work. He's here now. 73% of the time. So what I need is a whole bunch of stuff ripped down to 1 foot. All right, following morning. Yesterday was date day, so I didn't have a whole lot of time to work on it. But we're going to start with some grade pens in the hole. Not me overthinking this, but since I'm doing a monopour, I don't believe I need the grade pens. I just need a mark on the pillar where the bottom of the ICF is going to be. Then the bottom of the ICF will be the grate, you know. Is warming up quick today, which is nice. So the ICF block's 11 1/4 plus the OSB, which is 1 3/4 inches. What's that make, guys? 13. Got it. The block is 16. Okay, what if I did that? What if I just offset it? See, the problem is with the math there. Let's scoot you closer. Anyway, that only gives me about 1 1/4 inches of meat to attach my boards to, and with the way these cinder blocks are built, I'm afraid if I tap conda into that, it'd just blow the edge out. So I think what I'm going to do is shift the whole thing over and just offset, so the ICF is flush on one side of it, and it'll just be stepped in here. I don't think it's going to matter in the grand scheme of things. All right, we're just going to put enough in to kind of tack it and hold it in place for now. Obviously we'll have to scab onto the top, but that's not a big deal. I think that's gonna work. But before we can attach that ICF, we've got to get some rebar pinned in. And I got to measure and make sure it kind of falls in these holes in the webbing. Otherwise it might, with my luck, I guarantee it, it's happened so many times before you pin to a wall and there's a piece of webbing right in the way. So we'll just get a couple measurements. I got the rebar pins figured out how I want to get these cut. I'm just going to get a whole bunch of them cut real quick, and then that way they're all staged and ready to go. These pins don't have to get crazy long. We'll put more rebar in the wall once it's in place. The main purpose of these pins isn't so the wall doesn't go down. It's so this wall, if it ever tries to push, doesn't try to push out and work its way up. So the goal is to slide this all in as one unit. I don't know how well this is going to work. Maybe I shouldn't pull on it too hard, but we're going to try. Looks a lot taller like that. That's comical. Hoping these pins don't get in the way. Oh yeah. That doesn't seem sturdy. There's one place to save money. It's the length of walk boards. There we go. How does it look on everything? All right. Oh, this feels silly. Oh, now I'm stuck. No, he was crushed by 37 pounds of styrofoam. Yeah, it's crazy. There we go. There we go. I mean, that shows pretty good. I may lift it just a touch. And we'll run a screw in here. There we go. So now that I got that figured out, the rebar pins, the OSB on the side, and how that's going to slide in, I'm going to rock these next two real quick and get them caught up to this step, and then we'll keep pushing forward. I think the first one took me an hour to fumble around to get it figured out, and the next two took me 20 minutes for both of them. It really didn't take long at all, which is awesome. The next step is to get that side locked in, and then we'll do a little bit of reinforcement on that. All we're going to do for these, we've got these boards, we're going to put them on the 2x4 like that, and then this will get tapped onto the wall, and that'll go onto the ICF. It was warm for about 10 minutes. Well, yeah, I do. Those Tapcons from earlier. Perfect. How do we look up there? It's going to pull a little bit, and that's fine. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go down through all of these, go ahead and take the hammer drill, get everything drilled out, and all the anchors that I've started caught up. Right now we just kind of have everything tacked into place. But I found if I tack everything on every step and then I get to the end, I'll almost always miss something when it comes to the time of the pour. So we're just going to go ahead and go through, get everything we got now 100% locked down, and then we can move on to the next step. So we got that all locked on. Next thing I want to do is just get a whole bunch of stuff cut and ready for the next day I work on this, which will be the next video. I'm going to need plus 3, 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. This part has always been the most time-consuming part of any kind of ICF work or concrete work I've ever done. The ICF typically goes up pretty quick, but then all the little strapping and everything we've got to do definitely is time-consuming, but we're certainly making progress, and hopefully in the next video, we'll finish the next video off with getting these things poured out. We still have some more strapping to finish up. We still have some rebar work to do, and we got to get some caps figured out for the very top side and how I want to do that. Monopours can definitely be a little bit more stressful than the traditional style of pouring. I definitely got to pay attention to my mix. I got to make sure I order it drier than I do wet. We can always weten it up, but you can't really make it more dry. We'll add some hot water, maybe a little bit of heat depending on the temperature, and hopefully we'll be able to do a few lifts. Everything will set up and this will work out. But there's definitely only one way to find out. That is, stay tuned to the channel. Make sure you're subscribed, you got your notifications turned on, and hopefully we catch you on the next one, because it's going to be good or bad, but the video will be good either way.